Chapter 4. The Mirror arrives. The Virelli estate stood several miles beyond the edge of the city, where the vineyards stretched across gentle hills, and the canals gave way to quiet country roads lined with cypress trees. The house itself was not ostentatious. Large, certainly, but built with a restrained elegance that suggested old wealth rather than newly acquired fortune. Pale stone walls reflected the afternoon sun, and tall windows overlooked gardens filled with roses and carefully tended hedges. Inside, the halls were wide and cool. Paintings hung in deliberate arrangement along the walls. Marble statues occupied quiet alcoves. Books filled several rooms in towering shelves that smelled faintly of leather and dust. Alessandro Virelli lived among these objects the way a scholar lives among ideas, thoughtfully, silently. The Mirror arrived just before dusk. Servants moved with a strange, subdued caution, as though they sensed something in the air, a shift in pressure, a subtle wrongness. Even the horses seemed restless, stamping and tossing their heads as the Bellini cart rolled up the gravel path. Virelli stood at the top of the steps, hands clasped behind his back, watching the delivery with a mixture of curiosity and impatience. He had commissioned mirrors before: Venetian glass, Florentine frames, even a French piece rumored to flatter the viewer, but none had stirred anticipation like this one. He didn't know why. Two Bellini men lifted the mirror from the cart, wrapped in linen and tied with cord. Even covered, it seemed to draw the eye. The servants carrying it avoided looking directly at it, focusing instead on their footing. "Careful," Virelli said, though his voice was softer than usual. "Bring it to the east room." The men obeyed, moving through the corridor with the slow, reverent steps of pallbearers. The house seemed to darken as they passed, as though the mirror absorbed light rather than reflected it. When they reached the east room, Virelli dismissed everyone. "I'll unwrap it myself." Door closed. Silence settled. He approached the mirror and untied the cord. The linen fell away, light shifted. The mirror caught the last of the afternoon sun and deepened it, turning the pale gold into something richer, almost molten. Virelli felt a faint pressure behind his eyes, not pain, but awareness, as though the mirror were looking back. He stepped closer. His reflection appeared crisp, almost too crisp, as if the glass were not reflecting him but studying him. He leaned in. The reflection sharpened with impossible precision. Every thread of his coat, every line of his face, every subtle tension in his posture appeared with unnerving clarity. For a moment he thought the image hesitated, a fractional delay, no more than the pause between breaths. He blinked. The reflection blinked a heartbeat late. Or perhaps he imagined it. A knock at the door broke the moment. "Enter," Virelli said, without turning. Was his steward Domenico, a man who rarely showed emotion, yet now looked uneasy? "Signor," he began, "there is something you should know. When the Bellini men arrived, they mentioned a visitor." "A visitor?" "A nobleman. Someone who came to the workshop unexpectedly. He asked to see your mirror." Virelli turned sharply. "Why?" "They didn't say, only that he seemed knowledgeable, curious. He commissioned a mirror of his own." Virelli frowned. "Did they give his, signor?" "Only that he was of high standing." "And that he paid generously." Virelli dismissed him, but the steward hesitated at the door. "Signor, the men said he asked whose mirror it was. And when they told him, he reacted as though he already knew you." Virelli's pulse quickened. "Leave me," he said. The door closed. He turned back to the mirror. His reflection stood perfectly still, too still, as though waiting for him to speak.